Hi, everybody. Okay, so I know it's Saturday, and I usually don't do videos. But I had an idea. I was watching a movie, Along Came Polly, and I've been trying to do this year more than usual, which is watch movies I don't normally watch. I try to watch movies that I've never seen before because I tend to watch the same movies over and over and over again, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just wanted to try something different, right? So I said, okay. And the idea for this came to me right after I watched the movie because I was like, okay, I wonder which one I like better because I was going to do, I just watched Long Came Polly and it was a new movie. I had never seen it before. So I saw in the Amazon Prime listings Working Girl from 1988 or 1987. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the review on the Along Came Polly right now, and then I'm going to watch the Working Girl right after this, and then I'm going to do a review of that one, and in that review I'm going to include whether which one I like better and the reasons why, and give a review. Although I've given a review before, but I do like to do things that I've seen twice and to see if my opinions have changed over some time. So that's the idea I had in my head. Okay, so Along Came Polly. It's pretty simple plot. With a couple of course, twists and turns in the comedy part and whatever. I would call it a dramedy because there's a little bit of drama, but it's mostly comedy. But at least they didn't go for the gross humor, so I appreciate that. Okay, this movie was made in 2004. It stars Jennifer Aniston and Ben Stiller, but with parts for Deborah Messing and Hank Azaria too. Only he plays a character that's totally not him. I mean, unless you know his face, then you won't know it's him because he has a total French accent and totally his character and this character is totally different than his normal thing. Because I saw him in I saw him in the movie for Tuesdays with Murray. You know, when they made the television movie, and then I also saw him in a serious role. So in another role. So I know what his baseline character is, and this character is a total departure from that. Okay, so the story goes, um, and Ben Stiller plays a guy called Ruben, and Deborah Messing plays a character named Lisa, and they get married, and it's very conventional, and things you have to know. Okay, Ben Stiller plays a risk assessment guy. So, like a life insurance guy, he'll tell you what's the risk of you unaliving doing this, that, and the other thing, or something like that, you know. And then so you get the premise right away that he leads a very safe life. He doesn't take too many chances because that's just how he lives his life. And then, so he's with Lisa. They've been together for a while, I'm guessing. And, you know, uh, the marriage was kind of expected, all that stuff. Okay. So they get married, they go through the vows, and then they go on a honeymoon. And on the honeymoon, she decides to try scuba diving, and she, I guess, quote unquote, falls in love with the scuba instructor. So she cheats on him on their honeymoon. Okay. So he goes home heartbroken, and everybody is like, oh my God, I can't believe, I'm so sorry, so sorry. So he's trying to get on with his life, and his friend says, "Oh no," but his friend, played by the wonderful late Philip Seymour. Yeah. And so they're supposed to be best friends. And Seymour's character is he was a successful actor in one thing that was years ago, and he always rides the coattails of that movie or that thing, right? Okay, so okay, so we have to get to the Ilonka and Polly part because Jennifer Aniston plays Polly Prince. Now, somehow, Ruben and Polly know each other because they went to the same middle school before she moved, and that whole thing. So they know each other because I don't think otherwise they would actually meet. So they happen to go to Ruben and I forgot the character's name. His best friend's character. They go to an art thing, and Ben Stiller doesn't even want to be there. He's like, "Why am I here? Please don't leave me. I've never been alone. This is my first time going out, and please don't leave me." And within 5 seconds, the other character leaves. I mean, just splits. So he's like, "Oh God, what am I supposed to do?" Like, imagine a guy that doesn't like to be. It's like a wallflower-like character, and he's thrown into this thing where he has to meet somebody or talk to somebody, or otherwise you look awkward, right? Okay, so then Polly Prince, the character, is there because she serves wine at these art events or whatever, right? And so she's supposed to circulate around the room. Well, when she's circulating, she runs into Ruben and she says, "Oh, I think I know that guy." So she introduces herself again and says, "Hi, I'm Polly, and I think I know you. And didn't we go to middle school together?" And yada yada. Okay. So then, which all that's cool. But then here's the strange part. Besides the other strange part, I'm getting to all the strange parts now. Okay, so she goes, "Well, we should catch up. We should go out." And he's like, "I don't know. And, I don't know. I'm going to have to check my schedule." And then so she says, "Well, we should." And then she plays this really flaky, they call her, in the character description, they call her a flaky, free-spirited woman. Okay? Okay, let's talk about verbiage here. I don't really like how they use the words that they use for a women character versus men. Okay, my point is, when you're a guy and you're single and you're past a certain age and whatever, you're still called a bachelor, or he's just a lifelong bachelor. They get bachelor. Okay. When a woman gets to be a certain age and she's still single, as far as the movies go, she's either a let's see, spinster, she's a bookish, matronly, lunch lady, school marm. Oh yeah, school marm. Remember back in the days of Little House on the Prairie? They called the older teacher, Wilder, a school marm. And by the term school marm, you're supposed to assume that she never goes on a date and she goes home and she just does whatever and she doesn't want to date. Okay? That was back in the olden days, I guess. But, I mean, the terms are still used today, so I just don't like it. But I like the story overall because at least it's not cookie cutter in the way of, you don't exactly know they're going to end up together. You really don't. Because, the other side of it is that I didn't get to this yet, but his wife, Lisa, comes back and tries to get back with him. And for a split second, he thinks about it. And because his friend told him, you should stick with Lisa, he actually thinks about it. And then he has this moment of clarity, which that's kind of what I like in all these movies because even if you know where it's going, the moment of clarity is best because I think of it like the character going one way, and then the moment of clarity happens and totally opens up their mind to other possibilities that they never even thought of, and they just act completely differently after that. So what happens is, okay, so he says, I would be completely crazy to go back with you. You cheated on me on our honeymoon. Why would I do that? That was step one. Then step two is his father makes this whole like a monologue kind of, and why this is important is because his father plays a character where he does not speak. And I mean nothing. Okay? So for his father to say anything is monumental in the first place. But then he says, I can't believe you. You've rode on the coattails of this one role your whole life, and come on, get real. And then he says, life it's a ride, and if you don't enjoy the ride, what are you doing? And those moments right there is where Ruben starts to think about things completely differently and says that he should take a chance on the relationship with Polly. Okay, so Polly's side is that she doesn't know if she wants to stay there. So he's trying to look for her and look for her. And she's still in her apartment and whatever. And so he says, I don't think you want to leave. And she says, I don't know if you know what I want. I don't think you know what I want. So they're standing on the sidewalk and he's like, what do I have to do to prove that, I'm not the guy you think I am, like all buttoned up and whatever. And so he did this whole thing about how you shouldn't eat peanuts at a bar. Like if you're at a bar, don't eat the mixed snacks in there because too many people have touched snacks. So he takes peanuts, okay, from a cart and starts eating them. And she says, they're not even dirty. Because the point is, you shouldn't have. You get the point, okay? So then he does that to prove, and then they get back together, kind of. Okay, so the full circle moment is when they go back to the same place that he went for his honeymoon. And the guy, the scuba instructor, Claude, his name is Claude, says, hey, Ruben, can't believe you're here. Great to see you, man. Is this your lovely bride? He's like, no, we're just seeing how it goes. And, whatever. And so Jennifer Aniston says, well, I think we're more serious than that. And then even Hank Azaria goes in there with the accent and goes, well, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, but hey, just have fun. So it's a really cool movie. And the fact that I can remember the whole script tells you I really like the movie. So give it a try. It may be 20 years old or 21 years old, but it still hangs out today. So, like I said, give it a whirl. Alright. I'll be back tomorrow with a review for a working girl. Okay?